Imagine building a dynasty so magnificent that it would leave behind the most visited building on the face of the earth. Imagine commanding an economy so vast that your empire alone produced nearly 1/4 of the entire world's wealth. Now imagine watching it all crumble, not in a single battle, not in a single betrayal, but slowly, painfully. Over 2 centuries of pride, paranoia, and the most spectacular slow-motion collapse in the history of human civilization. This is the Mughal Empire. 6 emperors of extraordinary genius, dozens of queens whose names history tried to erase, armies that shook the earth from Kabul to Bengal, a civilization that gave the world its greatest monument, its finest miniature paintings, its most complex system of religious tolerance, and then tore itself apart from the inside. Today we tell the full story. No shortcuts, no colonial filters. Strap in, because this is going to be one hell of a ride. To understand the Mughal Empire, you have to start not in India, but in the heart of Central Asia, in a small kingdom called Fergana, tucked into what is today modern Uzbekistan. The year is 1483. A boy is born into the Timurid dynasty, descendants of the terrifying Timur the Lame, also known in the West as Tamerlane, who had once reduced Delhi to ash a century earlier. On his mother's side, this boy carried the blood of none other than Genghis Khan himself. His name was Zaharuddin Muhammad, but history would remember him simply as Babur, which in Persian means the tiger. Babur was born on February 14, 1483, in Andijan, Fergana, a region of present-day Uzbekistan. His father was Omar Sheikh Mirza, ruler of Fergana. His mother, Kutluf Nigar Khanum, was a Mongol princess. Some historians suggest that Babur's dual lineage, both Timurid Persian culture and Mongol warrior tradition, created in him a unique psychological tension. A man of exquisite literary taste who was also a ruthless military machine. The tension between civilization and conquest would define every Mughal emperor who followed. Here is the first thing you need to understand about the Mughal Empire. It was born from loss. When Babur was just 11 years old, his father died. Some say falling from his pigeon tower in a freak accident. The kingdom of Fergana passed to the 11-year-old boy, and immediately the wolves circled. Rival uncles, ambitious cousins, and the rising power of the Uzbek Shaybanids under Muhammad Shaybani Khan began dismantling the Timurid world. Babur would spend the next 15 years of his life being driven from kingdom to kingdom, losing cities he had won, watching friends defect, surviving assassination attempts, sleeping in enemy territory with nothing but his sword and his poetry. Babur captured Samarkand, the glittering jewel of the Islamic world, the city of Timur's dreams, 3 times. And 3 times he lost it, each time more devastating than the last. By 1504, at age 21, Babur had lost everything in Central Asia. He turned south, crossed the Hindu Kush mountains and captured Kabul. He would spend the next 20 years building Kabul into a base, and dreaming of something larger. To the south lay Hindustan, the Indian subcontinent. And in 1526, The moment that would change world history arrived. The reigning power in northern India was the Lodi Sultanate, under Sultan Ibrahim Lodi. But Ibrahim was tyrannical, deeply unpopular with his own Afghan nobility. One of those nobles, Daulat Khan Lodi, made a fateful decision. He invited Babur in. This was not the first time Babur had raided into India. He had conducted at least 4 previous raids into Punjab before the final invasion. He understood the terrain and the political fractures. On April 21, 1526, at a dusty plain called Panipat, about 90 kilometers north of Delhi, 2 armies met. Ibrahim Lodi had 100,000 soldiers and 100 war elephants. Babur had 12,000 men. The number should have made this a massacre. And it was. Just not in the direction you'd expect. Babur had something Ibrahim Lodi did not. Gunpowder. Babur was among the first commanders in the subcontinent to effectively deploy matchlock firearms and field artillery, a technology he had learned through contact with the Ottoman Empire. He arranged his guns in a technique called the Ottoman device, Rumi method, chaining his carts together to form a mobile wall of artillery, forcing the enemy to funnel into kill zones. Ibrahim Lodi charged and ran directly into cannon fire. His war elephants panicked at the noise and turned on his own troops. In a matter of hours, Ibrahim Lodi was dead on the battlefield. The Mughal Empire had begun. Babur walked into Agra and Delhi and was reportedly underwhelmed. In his autobiography, The Baburnama, one of the most extraordinary personal memoirs in human history, Babur wrote that Hindustan was a land of few charms. He missed the gardens of Kabul, the cool air of Central Asia, the melons and grapes that did not grow in the Indian plains. He was homesick for a home he had lost. But he was also a conqueror. And conquerors stay. Babur had multiple wives, as was customary for rulers of his era. His most significant queen was Mughal Begum, who would become the mother of his successor, Humayun. He also had Gulrukh Begum, mother of his sons Kamran and Askari. His total number of children reached at least 18, though not all survived to adulthood. His eldest son, Humayun, born in 1508 to Mughal Begum, was already in his late teens during Babur's conquest of India. Babur trusted him enough to appoint him governor of Badakhshan even before the conquest of Hindustan. Babur's brothers and half-brothers were a constant source of both support and threat. His full brother Jahangir Mirza had once been a rival, later a companion. His commanders, men like Mir Baba Dost and Ustad Ali Tsuli, his chief artillery commander, were essential to his military victories. Winning Panipat was just the beginning. The Rajput Confederacy under Rana Sangha, Maharana Sangram Singh of Mewar, refused to submit. Rana Sangha was a fearsome warrior, a man who had lost an eye, an arm, and walked with a limp from battle wounds, yet remained unconquered. At the Battle of Kanwa in March 1527, Babur faced Rana Sangha's coalition of Rajput princes, Afghan nobles, and even some Muslim chiefs. Babur's own men were terrified, whispering that it was better to return home than die in this foreign land. What Babur did next was extraordinary. He stood before his army and declared jihad, a holy war, against Rana Sanga's forces, framing the battle in religious terms to galvanize his wavering troops. He also dramatically smashed his wine cups and swore to give up alcohol, a public theatrical sacrifice that reportedly moved his men to tears. Whether Babur's declaration was sincere faith or brilliant psychological theater, historians still debate. But it worked. His army fought with renewed ferocity at Kanwa. He defeated Rana Sanga. He then defeated the Afghan chiefs at the Battle of Gagra in 1529. By the time Babur died on December 26, 1530, in Agra at the age of 47, he had established an empire stretching from Kabul to Bengal's western border. Babur reportedly fell gravely ill, and legend, though it is almost certainly, holds that he prayed to God to take his life in exchange for saving his gravely ill son Humayun. Whether miraculous or not, Babur died and Humayun recovered. Babur was the only emperor to build his empire from scratch. But his contributions were cultural as much as military. He introduced formal garden design, the Persian charbagh four-garden layout, to the subcontinent. The Garden of Ram Bagh in Agra, possibly the oldest surviving Mughal garden, is attributed to him. His autobiography, the Baburnama, written in the Chagatai Turkic language, is considered one of the first true autobiographies in world literature, a work of startling honesty, wit, and self-reflection. He introduced gunpowder artillery as a systematic field tactic to Indian warfare, permanently transforming military capacity on the subcontinent. If Babur was the tiger, then Humayun was complicated. Intelligent, charming, deeply interested in astrology and literature, and at critical moments catastrophically indecisive. Nasir-ud-Din Muhammad Humayun inherited an empire that was barely consolidated. Babur had not yet built an administrative structure. He had conquered, he had not yet governed. Humayun's first mistake was arguably his first act. Following Mughal tradition, he divided his father's empire among his brothers. His half-brother Kamran received Kabul and Punjab. Askari and Hindal received other provinces. This decision, possibly driven by Humayun's genuine sense of fraternal loyalty, or possibly by political necessity, would haunt him for the next 15 years. His brothers were never truly loyal. Humayun's most famous wife was Hamida Banu Begum, whom he married in 1541 during his years of exile. She was just 14 or 15 years old at the time. She would become the mother of the greatest Mughal emperor, Akbar. Humayun reportedly pursued her for 40 days before she agreed to marry him, according to the memoirs of Humayun's sister, Gulbadan Begum, in the Humayunama. He also had other wives, including Bega Begum, also called Haji Begum, who was devoted enough to him that after his death, she funded and oversaw the construction of his spectacular tomb in Delhi. Humayun's brothers were his greatest weakness. When the Afghan warlord Sher Shah Suri began his rise to power, Humayun found himself fighting on multiple fronts, and his brothers provided no meaningful help. At the Battle of Chausa in 1539 and the Battle of Kannauj, also called Bilgram, in 1540, Humayun's forces were decisively defeated by Sher Shah Suri. At Chausa, Humayun narrowly escaped drowning in the Ganges River, reportedly saved by a water carrier named Nizam who used an inflated water skin to help the emperor cross. Humayun was so grateful that he allowed Nizam to sit on the imperial throne for half a day, one of the more extraordinary gestures in recorded Mughal history. After Kannauj, Humayun lost his empire. He became a wanderer, crossing the deserts of Sindh, living as a fugitive, dependent on the hospitality of the Persian Shah Tahmasp. Here is a man who was born to an empire and reduced to begging at foreign courts. And yet, the Persian Shah Tahmasp gave Humayun an army of 12,000 Safavid cavalry, on the condition that Humayun convert to Twelver Sharia Islam and promoted in Hindustan if he regained his throne. The depth of Humayun's sincerity in this conversion is disputed. He likely accepted as political necessity. What is certain is that this Safavid connection introduced powerful Persian cultural influences into the Mughal court, influences that would define Mughal art, architecture, and administration for generations. With Persian help, Humayun recaptured Kabul in 1545, ousting his treacherous brother Kamran. He then had Kamran blinded, the standard medieval punishment for political rivals, rendering them ineligible for rule. Kamran later went on pilgrimage to Mecca and died there. In 1555, Humayun swept back into India. The Suri dynasty had fractured after Sher Shah's death. He recaptured Delhi. Then, less than a year later, on January 27, 1556, Humayun died, tumbling down the stairs of his library in the Purana Kila fort, rushing to answer the call to prayer. He was 47 years old. He had reigned in total for about 11 years across 2 separate tenures. History's verdict on Humayun is gentle but honest. He was a man of genuine refinement and bad luck, undone by the same generosity of spirit that made him admirable. But he gave the empire something it desperately needed, a 13-year-old son named Akbar, already waiting in the wings. Let us speak plainly. In all of recorded human history, there are perhaps a dozen rulers who can genuinely be called transformative. Rulers who didn't just conquer territory but reshaped the very DNA of civilization. Akbar was one of them. Jalal-ud-Din Muhammad Akbar was born on October 15, 1542, in a market in modern-day Pakistan's Sindh province, while his father Humayun was a fugitive. He was raised partly under the care of his uncle Askari and then reclaimed by his father after 1545. His childhood tutor was the legendary Bayram Khan, a fierce Shia general of Turkic origin who would become the de facto regent of the empire. When Humayun died, Akbar was 13 years old. Bayram Khan held the empire together and defeated the Hindu king Hemu, a powerful Afghan-backed general who had briefly seized Delhi, at the Second Battle of Panipat in November 1556. Hemu was wounded by an arrow through his eye during the battle and captured. The teenage Akbar was brought to deal the killing blow, in accordance with the tradition of making a young ruler prove himself. Historical accounts vary on what actually happened. Some say Akbar struck the blow, others say Bayram Khan did it himself. The ambiguity suggests this moment may have been sanitized for the royal record. By 1560, at age 18, Akbar had grown tired of Bayram Khan's domineering regency. He dismissed him, diplomatically sending him on pilgrimage to Mecca. Bayram Khan was killed en route by an Afghan who nursed a personal grudge. Akbar then took Bayram Khan's widow as one of his wives and raised Bayram Khan's son, the future poet Abdul Rahim Kanaikana, as one of his own court's great luminaries. Akbar had at least 6 principal wives and numerous other consorts. A harem that, at its height, reportedly contained hundreds of women. His most politically significant marriage was to a Rajput princess, daughter of Raja Bihar Mal of Amber, Jaipur. She is often referred to in popular culture as Jodha Bai, though historians debate whether this was her actual name. The name Jodha may be a later conflation. What is historical fact is that this Rajput princess became the mother of Akbar's heir, Jahangir. Other notable wives included Salima Sultan Begum, a relative he married after her first husband's death, and Ruqayya Sultan Begum, his first wife and the daughter of his uncle Hindal Mirza. Akbar had 3 sons who survived to adulthood: Salim, the future Jahangir, Murad, and Daniel. Both Murad and Daniel died young from excessive alcohol consumption. A painful irony given that Akbar himself experimented with abstinence. Akbar's court was legendary. Among his inner circle, the celebrated 9 gems, Navaratnas, stood figures who shaped Indian culture forever. Abul Fazl, his biographer and chief ideological architect, author of the Akbarnama and Aina Akbari. Faizi, Abul Fazl's brother and poet laureate. Tansen, the greatest classical musician of medieval India, whose ragas are still performed today. Birbal, Akbar's wit, advisor and close friend, famous for his wisdom and folklore. Todar Mal, the financial genius who reformed the entire empire's revenue system. Man Singh I, the Rajput general who became one of Akbar's greatest military commanders. Abdul Rahim Kanaikana, son of Bayram Khan, poet and strategist. The existence of all 9 as a simultaneously serving group has been questioned by some historians, who suggest the 9 gems may be a later romantic construction. But the individuals themselves are all historically documented. Akbar's military career was relentless. In the first decade of his reign alone, he subdued the Rajput kingdoms, capturing the nearly impregnable fortress of Chittorgarh in 1568, a siege that ended in one of the bloodiest episodes of his reign, with mass killings of the defeated garrison. Akbar later expressed regret about the massacre at Chittor, captured Ranthambore and Kalinjar fortress, 1568–69, absorbed Gujarat, 1572–73, gaining access to the Arabian Sea and its immense trade wealth. Conquered Bengal, 1574–76, defeating the Afghan Karani sultans. defeated Maharana Pratap of Mur at the Battle of Haldigati in 1576, though Pratap was never captured. He escaped and continued resistance, and Mur was never fully subdued in Akbar's lifetime. Annexed Kashmir 1586, Sindh 1591, Kandahar 1595, and most of the Deccan's northern edges by 1601. Here is where Akbar's story becomes genuinely revolutionary. Here is where he does something that almost no ruler of his age, East or West, dared to do. He questioned religion itself. Akbar founded the Ibadat Khana, house of worship, in 1575 at Fatehpur Sikri, a place where theologians, scholars, and religious leaders of every faith were invited to debate. Muslims, Hindus, Jains, Zoroastrians, Christians, including Portuguese Jesuits he specifically invited, and later possibly Buddhists, all sat together at his table. In 1582, Akbar promulgated a new spiritual movement called Din-i-Ilahi, divine faith, a syncretic philosophy drawing from Islam, Hinduism, Zoroastrianism, and other traditions. It rejected dogma and centered on direct spiritual devotion to God through the emperor. Whether this was genuine spiritual seeking or sophisticated political calculation remains debated. What is certain is that Akbar's policy of Sulh-e-Kul, peace with all, was a genuine administrative and philosophical commitment, not mere propaganda. He abolished the jizya, discriminatory tax on non-Muslims, in 1564. He appointed Hindus and Rajputs to the highest offices of state. He married Hindu women without demanding their conversion. By contrast, his contemporary Philip II of Spain was burning Protestants. Elizabeth I of England was executing Catholics. Placed in global context, Akbar's religious pluralism was extraordinary, arguably the most sophisticated experiment in multi-religious governance the medieval world had ever seen. Systematized gunpowder weapons manufacturing in state arsenals. Built a royal workshop system, karkhanas, that produced everything from weapons to luxury goods. Akbar reportedly could not read or write. He was functionally illiterate, yet he patronized some of the greatest literature of the age, listening to books read aloud and possessing a photographic memory. He had thousands of manuscripts in his library. Finance Minister Todar Mal introduced the Dasila system, a 10-year rolling average of agricultural yield used to calculate land revenue, replacing arbitrary extortion with a rational, data-driven system. This was one of the most sophisticated revenue administrations in the 16th century world. Akbar's empire was estimated to produce approximately 25% of global GDP at its peak, comparable to the entire European continent combined. Created the Mansabdari system, a ranked civil-military bureaucracy that assigned numerical grades, mansabs, to all imperial officers, determining their salary, troop obligations, and social rank. This replaced hereditary nobility with meritocratic appointment. This system persisted in modified forms until the empire's collapse. Built Fatehpur Sikri, an entire new capital city carved from red sandstone, combining Persian, Central Asian, and Indian architectural traditions. It was largely abandoned within 15 years, possibly due to water scarcity, though it stands magnificently preserved today. Established the Mughal painting tradition, merging Persian miniature techniques with Indian visual sensibility. He employed over 100 artists in his royal atelier. Prince Salim's road to the throne was not smooth. In the final years of Akbar's reign, the prince launched an open revolt, setting up a rival court at Allahabad in 1600. Enraged by his father's growing affection for his court advisor Abul Fazl, whom Salim suspected of poisoning Akbar against him, Salim ordered the assassination of Abul Fazl in 1602. Akbar was reportedly devastated. Their relationship never fully healed before Akbar's death in 1605. When Salim became emperor as Nur-ud-Din Muhammad Jahangir, conqueror of the world, he was 36 years old. Jahangir married multiple wives. His most famous, and arguably the true power of his reign, was Maranissa, whom he married in 1611 and titled Nur Jahan, Light of the World. Nur Jahan was the widow of a Persian nobleman and the daughter of a Mughal official. She was reportedly 34 years old at the time of their marriage, older than a typical royal consort. What she brought to the relationship was a mind of extraordinary sharpness. Nur Jahan issued imperial farmans orders in her own name. Coins were minted bearing her name alongside Jahangir's. She effectively co-governed the empire, forming a powerful inner junta with her father Itamad-ud-Dawla, who received the title the first all-marble Mughal tomb, still standing in Agra, and her brother Asaf Khan. She is one of the most powerful women in Asian imperial history. And yet, in most history textbooks, she receives a footnote. Jahangir's other significant relationship was with a man, his court artist and confidant whose portraits he commissioned obsessively. Jahangir's passion for painting was consuming. He claimed to be able to identify any painting's artist from a single glimpse, a claim corroborated by his court records. Jahangir had several sons: Khusro, Perviz, Khurram, the future Shah Jahan, Shahryar, and others. His eldest, Khusro, had actually rebelled against him at the very start of his reign in 1606. Jahangir had him blinded, the same brutal family tradition, and eventually Khusro was killed on orders of his brother Khurram around 1622. The Muir question was finally resolved when Maharana Amar Singh I of Muir signed a peace treaty in 1615, after decades of Rajput resistance. The terms were surprisingly generous, preserving Muir's autonomy. This was largely shaped by Nur Jahan's political pragmatism. The British East India Company arrived during Jahangir's reign. In 1608, Captain William Hawkins arrived seeking trade rights. He failed. But in 1615, Sir Thomas Roe, as ambassador of King James I, was received at Jahangir's court and eventually secured trading rights. This was not seen as significant at the time. It would prove to be one of history's most consequential footnotes. Jahangir died on October 28, 1627 at age 58, near Lahore, from the combined effects of chronic illness and his lifelong addiction to alcohol and opium, conditions he described with alarming candor in his own memoir, The Tuzak-i Jahangiri. Mughal miniature painting reached its absolute apex under Jahangir, works of unmatched naturalistic beauty, depicting animals, court scenes, and religious allegories with a realism that astounded even European visitors. The Shalimar Gardens in Kashmir, one of the most beautiful formal garden complexes in the world, were developed during his reign. Nur Jahan's patronage of the Itamad-ud-Dawla tomb introduced pure white marble inlay work, pietra dura, to Mughal architecture, the technique that would later define the Taj Mahal. Prince Khurram had spent years consolidating power. When Jahangir died in 1627, a brutal succession war erupted. Khurram eliminated his rivals, including his brother Shahriyar, and ascended the throne as Shah Jahan, King of the World, in January 1628. He was 35 years old. He was already in love. Shah Jahan had multiple wives, but his heart belonged entirely to one, Arjuman Banu Begum, whom he titled Mumtaz Mahal, Crown of the Palace. She was the niece of Nur Jahan and daughter of Asaf Khan. He had married her in 1612 and was rarely separated from her, even taking her on military campaigns. Mumtaz Mahal died on June 17, 1631 in Burhanpur during the birth of their 14th child, a daughter named Gauharara Begum. She was 37 or 38 years old. Shah Jahan was reportedly shattered. Witnesses describe him as unable to eat, unable to speak, emerging from a week of seclusion with his beard and hair turned white from grief. Whether this account is literal or literary exaggeration is difficult to confirm, but the grief was clearly profound and real. He began building her tomb immediately. The Taj Mahal was constructed between approximately 1632 and 1653, employing roughly 20,000 artisans from across the empire and beyond, including architects from Persia, Central Asia, and India. The chief architect is believed to have been Ustad Ahmad Lahori, though multiple names appear in historical records. The attribution to a single architect is almost certainly an oversimplification of a vast collaborative project. The Taj Mahal remains the most visited building in the world. It is the single most recognizable monument of human civilization. A man lost his wife, and the wound bled marble. Shah Jahan had 4 sons by Mumtaz Mahal who mattered politically: Dar Shirkoh, Shah Shuja, Aurangzeb, and Murad Bakhsh. Their rivalry would destroy the empire's cohesion. His daughter Jahanara Begum essentially ran his household after Mumtaz's death, and later supported Dar Shirkoh. Shah Jahan pushed aggressively into the Deccan, finally subduing the powerful Ahmadnagar Sultanate by 1636. He also made attempts to recapture Kandahar from the Safavid Persians, launching 3 expensive, ultimately failed campaigns that drained imperial resources significantly. The Deccan Wars were managed largely by his sons, particularly Aurangzeb, who proved himself an ice-cold, brilliant military commander in the Deccan's difficult terrain. Shah Jahan's reign represents the aesthetic apex of Mughal civilization. The Taj Mahal, need we say more? The Red Fort in Delhi, his new capital Shahjahanabad, a vast palace fortress in red sandstone and marble. The Jama Masjid in Delhi, still one of the largest mosques in India. The Peacock Throne, Takhti Taz, a gemstone-encrusted throne valued at the equivalent of billions in modern currency. It was later looted by the Persian conqueror Nadir Shah in 1739. As Shah Jahan's reign saw the Mughal economy reach its absolute peak, with GDP estimates suggesting the empire produced roughly 24% of global output. In 1658, Shah Jahan fell gravely ill. The succession war his sons had been preparing for erupted immediately. Aurangzeb moved fastest. He imprisoned his father in Agra Fort, where Shah Jahan spent his final 8 years able to see the Taj Mahal from his window, mourning his wife, his empire, and his imprisoned life. Shah Jahan died on January 22, 1666, in Agra Fort. He was buried next to Mumtaz Mahal in the Taj Mahal, the only building in the world where an emperor's tomb is slightly asymmetric from its companions, because the Taj had been designed as Mumtaz's monument alone. No figure in Mughal history divides opinion more violently than Muhyiddin Muhammad Aurangzeb, the last of the great Mughals. He was, by almost any measure, one of the most effective military commanders and administrators of the 17th century. He was also responsible for policies that accelerated the empire's collapse in ways that are still being felt today. Let us be honest about both. Aurangzeb was the third surviving son of Shah Jahan. He was deeply pious, far more genuinely devout than any of his predecessors. He memorized the Quran in his youth. He reportedly copied the Quran by hand and made prayer caps by himself as personal income, refusing to use state funds for his personal expenses. Fact: he died with less than 300 rupees to his name in personal savings, a remarkable fact for a man who ruled the wealthiest empire on earth for nearly 5 decades. When Shah Jahan fell ill in 1657, a four-way war of succession erupted among his sons. Each controlled a different region of the empire and had his own army. Dara Shikoh, the eldest, Shah Jahan's favorite, a brilliant scholar, a Sufi mystic who had translated the Upanishads from Sanskrit to Persian, and a symbol of pluralistic Islam. Shah Shuja, governor of Bengal, declared himself emperor and marched west. Murad Bakhsh, governor of Gujarat, naive and ambitious. Aurangzeb, governor of the Deccan, patient, brilliant, utterly cold. Aurangzeb formed a strategic alliance with Murad, defeated the imperial forces and marched on Agra. He then arrested his father. He then had Murad imprisoned and eventually executed. He then hunted down Shah Shuja, who fled to Arakan, Burma, and died in obscure circumstances. Then he turned to Dara Shikoh. Dara Shikoh was defeated militarily and fled westward. He was betrayed by an Afghan chief and turned over to Aurangzeb in 1659. Aurangzeb had him tried for apostasy and executed. His head reportedly sent to Shah Jahan in Agra Fort. This was perhaps the most consequential political murder in Mughal history. The death of Dara Koh was the death of pluralist Islam's most eloquent royal champion. Aurangzeb was crowned Alamgir I, conqueror of the universe, on July 31, 1658. Aurangzeb had at least 3 principal wives: Dilruz Banu Begum, his most beloved, who died in 1657. Her tomb, the Bibi Ka Maqbara in Aurangabad, was built by their son and is often called the poor man's Taj. Nawab Bai and Udaipuri Mahal, a Georgian slave concubine who had previously belonged to Dara Koh. He had numerous sons and daughters. His principal sons, Muazzam Azam Shah, Akbar, Kambakhsh, would all eventually turn against him or rebel. His own son Prince Akbar raised a revolt in 1681, allied with the Rajput king Durga Das Rathore, and when defeated, fled to the Deccan and later to Persia. Aurangzeb never captured him. An emperor who imprisoned his father. An emperor whose own son fled from him. A man who built the largest empire the subcontinent had ever seen, and left it in ruins. Aurangzeb's religious policies were a systematic dismantling of Akbar's pluralism. He reimposed the jizya, non-Muslim tax, in 1679, repealed by Akbar a century earlier. He issued edicts restricting temple construction and ordered the destruction of several major Hindu temples, including the Kashi Vishwanath temple in Varanasi, replaced by the Jayamvapi Mosque, and the Kesvadeo temple at Mathura. The scale of destruction has been both exaggerated and minimized across different political traditions. The historical record confirms significant destruction, while the exact motivations, pure religious ideology versus political punishment of rebel allied temples, remain debated among historians. He banned music, dance, and many arts at the imperial court. He restricted the influence of Sufi shrines. These policies systematically alienated the empire's non-Muslim majority, approximately 80% of his subjects. In 1681, Aurangzeb personally moved to the Deccan, and never left. For 26 consecutive years he camped in the south, fighting to subdue the Maratha Confederacy under the genius of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and then his successors. Shivaji had already carved out an independent kingdom by the 1670s, using guerrilla warfare tactics that neutralized Mughal numerical advantage. He had once famously escaped from Aurangzeb's court custody in Agra in 1666, hidden in fruit baskets, one of the greatest prison escapes in Indian history. Shivaji died in 1680. Aurangzeb captured and executed his son Sambhaji in 1689. Yet the Marathas continued fighting. The Deccan campaign consumed staggering imperial resources. Historians estimate that the Mughal army in the Deccan at its peak exceeded 500,000 soldiers, support staff, and civilians. A mobile city larger than most of the world's permanent cities at the time. The logistics were impossible to sustain. By the time Aurangzeb died on March 3, 1707, at Ahmednagar at the age of 88, one of the oldest Mughal emperors, he had physically conquered more territory than any Mughal before him. He left behind an empire from Kashmir to Tamil Nadu borders. But the treasury was depleted. The Marathas were undefeated. The Rajput kingdoms were in revolt. The empire's administrative coherence was shattered. In his final letter, written to his son, Aurangzeb wrote words that historians have parsed for centuries. He reportedly said, "I came alone and I go as a stranger. I do not know who I am, nor what I have been doing." Whether this was genuine spiritual desolation or literary convention, we cannot say for certain. But for a man who had spent 88 years fighting, conquering, and legislating, it reads as the most human of confessions. Despite his cultural restrictions, Aurangzeb's reign produced the Fatwa-i-Alam-Jari, a massive codification of Islamic law in the Hanafi tradition, compiled by hundreds of scholars under his direction. It became one of the most comprehensive legal codes in Islamic jurisprudence. The empire reached its greatest geographic extent, over 4 million square kilometers. The GDP of the Mughal Empire at this point was estimated at 24.5% of global output, though this was already beginning to erode under the strain of war. After Aurangzeb's death, the empire did not collapse all at once. It dissolved, slowly like salt in rising water. In the 50 years between 1707 and 1757, the Mughal throne changed hands 12 times. Let us walk through this collapse, because every step reveals exactly why great civilizations fall. Bahadur Shah Shah Alam I, 1707 to 1712, 5 years. Aurangzeb's son Muazzam won the succession war at the Battle of Jijau in 1707 and became Bahadur Shah I. He was already 63. He reversed several of his father's more contentious religious policies, sought reconciliation with the Rajputs and Marathas, and showed genuine statesmanship, but had only 5 years to work with. He died in 1712 in Lahore. Jahandar Shah, 1712 to 1713, 1 year. Bahadur Shah's son Jahandar Shah took power through a succession war but was entirely dependent on the real power behind the throne, his wazir, Prime Minister, Zulfikar Khan. Jahandar Shah was pleasure-seeking and weak. He was deposed within a year. Farrukhsiyar, 1713 to 1719, 6 years. Farrukhsiyar, a grandson of Bahadur Shah, took the throne with the crucial support of the Sayyid brothers, Hussein Ali Khan and Abdullah Khan, 2 brothers who became the empire's true power brokers. It was Farrukhsiyar who issued the Imperial Farman of 1717 granting the British East India Company customs-free trading rights in Bengal, possibly the most consequential single document in the history of British colonialism. He had no idea what he was doing. He was killed by the Sayyid brothers in 1719. 1719, the year of 3 emperors. 3 emperors sat on the Mughal throne in rapid succession. Rafi-ud Darajat died of tuberculosis after 3 months. Rafi-ud Daulah/Shah Jahan II died after 3 months, also of illness and reportedly opium addiction. Muhammad Shah Ranhila, 1719 to 1748, 29 years. The young Muhammad Shah, nicknamed Ranhila, the colorful one, for his love of music, art, and pleasure, finally gave the empire some stability. He had the Sayyid brothers removed from power by 1720. His reign saw the revival of Mughal arts and music, and he patronized the great classical musician Ibadat Khana Sudrung, who systematized what became the basis of Hindustani classical music. But his reign brought the most humiliating single moment in Mughal history. In 1739, the Persian Emperor Nadir Shah invaded India, defeated Muhammad Shah at the Battle of Karnal, marched into Delhi, and after a massacre of Delhi's citizens, the Qatalim, at least 20,000 to 30,000 killed, looted the imperial treasury, taking the peacock throne, the Kohinoor diamond, the Shah diamond, and wealth estimated at 70 crore rupees. He drained 2 centuries of accumulated Mughal wealth in a single visit. Muhammad Shah died in 1748, reportedly of grief and ill health after the invasion. Ahmad Shah Bahadur, 1748 to 1754, 6 years, Muhammad Shah's son, weak and dominated by court factions, deposed and blinded. Alamgir II, 1754 to 1759, 5 years, a puppet of his Wazir Imad ul-Mulk, assassinated in 1759. Shah Alam II, 1759 to 1806, 47 years nominal, the longest reigning late Mughal. Shah Alam II spent much of his reign either a fugitive, a prisoner of the Marathas, or later, after 1803, under British protection. In 1765, he signed the Treaty of Allahabad with Robert Clive, granting the East India Company the right to collect revenue Diwani in Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa. This was the legal instrument of British colonial rule in India. He was blinded by the Afghan chief Ghulam Qadir in 1788, the same year the United States Constitution was ratified, to give a sense of the era. Akbar Shah II, 1806 to 1837, a complete British pensioner. He gave the British reformer Ram Mohan Roy the title Raja to take to King George IV in London, a final, poignant Mughal gesture of influence. Bahadur Shah Zafar, 1837 to 1857, 20 years as nominal emperor, the last Mughal. An extraordinary poet in Urdu. An old man of 82 when the Indian Rebellion of 1857, also called the Sepoy Mutiny by the British, and the First War of Independence by Indian nationalists, erupted across northern India. The rebelling Indian soldiers, sepoys, rallied to Bahadur Shah Zafar as a symbol of legitimate Indian sovereignty. He did not lead the rebellion. He was persuaded, reluctantly, to lend it his name. The British crushed the rebellion. 2 of Zafar's sons were killed by the British officer William Hodson, shot without trial. Zafar was tried for treason and exiled to Rangoon, Burma, where he died in 1862 at approximately 87 years old. He reportedly asked in his final days to be buried in India. The British refused. He is buried in Rangoon, modern Yangon, Myanmar. His grave rediscovered in 1991 under what had been used as a cattle shed. He wrote poetry until the end. One of his verses, translated roughly, reads, "How unfortunate is Zafar! Before his burial, not even 2 yards of land were available in the beloved homeland. 3 centuries, 14 emperors. From a dusty plain at Panipat where a 12,000-man army destroyed 100,000, to a cattle shed in Burma. This is what empires do. They rise, they shine, they consume themselves, and they fall. The Mughal Empire did not just rule a territory. It shaped human civilization in ways we still live inside today. At its peak under Akbar through Shah Jahan, the Mughal economy was the largest in the world. Its GDP estimates range from 22 to 28% of global output. Its textile exports dominated global trade. Indian cotton fabrics, sold through the East India Company, flooded European markets, to the point that Britain passed laws in 1690 and 1720 banning the import of Indian cotton textiles to protect its domestic wool industry. This tells you everything about Mughal economic power. The Mughal architectural synthesis, blending Persian arches, Central Asian domes, Hindu decorative motifs, and indigenous Indian stonework, created a visual language that defines much of the South Asian built environment today. The Red Fort, the Taj Mahal, Humayun's tomb, Fatehpur Sikri, the Badshahi Mosque, the Lahore Fort. The Mughal court was the crucible in which Urdu developed as a literary language, a fusion of Persian, Arabic, Turkish, and Hindi spoken in the markets and military camps of the empire. Today, Urdu is the national language of Pakistan and a major literary language of South Asia. Mughal court cuisine, the fusion of Central Asian cooking traditions with Indian spices, produced dishes that are now eaten globally: biryani, korma, nihari, kebabs, naan. The dum cooking technique, slow cooking in sealed vessels, is a Mughal invention. The Mansabdari system, the Dasila revenue assessment, the concept of a universal emperor above sectarian identity, all were Mughal innovations that influenced every subsequent government of the subcontinent, including the British Raj, which largely inherited Mughal administrative structures. The East India Company arrived in India during Jahangir's reign as a minor trading partner. Within 150 years, it had become the de facto ruler of Bengal. Within 200 years, it controlled all of India. This was made possible step by step by Mughal weakness. Each concession, each farman, each treaty during the declining empire's desperate years became another brick in the British colonial structure. The question historians continue to debate: was Mughal decline the cause of British colonialism, or would British colonialism have happened anyway? The honest answer is probably both. The Mughal collapse created the opportunity, and British commercial military aggression was already seeking one. The Mughal Empire's collapse was not caused by one thing. It was caused by everything at once, a civilizational perfect storm. 1. Succession without law. The Mughals never developed a fixed succession system. Every emperor's death triggered war among his sons. This destroyed continuity, drained resources, and created structural instability at the top of the state. 2. Aurangzeb's overextension. He expanded the empire beyond its administrative and economic capacity to govern. The Deccan War was the empire's Vietnam, endless, expensive, and ultimately unwinnable. 3. The Maratha Tide. The Maratha Confederacy, which reached its height under Peshwa Baji Rao I, arguably the greatest general India ever produced, never losing a battle, systematically dismantled Mughal authority across central and western India throughout the early 18th century. 4. Afghan invasions. Nadir Shah's 1739 invasion stripped the treasury. The subsequent invasions of Ahmad Shah Durrani, who defeated the Marathas at the Third Battle of Panipat in 1761, but left rather than staying to fill the power vacuum, further destabilized northern India. 5. The nobles' independence. By the mid-18th century, Mughal governors, the Nawabs of Bengal, Awadh, Hyderabad, Arcot, were effectively independent rulers. The Nizam of Hyderabad, the Nawabs of Bengal and Awadh, retained only nominal imperial loyalty. The empire had become a ghost empire, its form preserved, its substance gone. 6. The British East India Company. Patient, capitalized, militarily innovative, and utterly unsentimentally ruthless. Robert Clive's victory at the Battle of Plassey in 1757, won partly through treachery bribing the Nawab of Bengal's General Mir Jafar, was the real end of the Mughal order in Bengal, a full century before the formal British declaration of empire. The Mughal Empire lasted in full form from 1526 to roughly 1720. In its nominal shell to 1857. In that time, it produced 6 emperors of genuine historical greatness. It built some of the most beautiful structures human hands have ever made. It governed one of the most diverse populations ever assembled under a single administration. It produced music, poetry, painting, cuisine, language, and law that the world still lives with today. It also produced war, repression, religious violence, fraternal murder, and the slow, stupid, proud mistakes that all great powers eventually make when they forget that empires are made of people, not stone. The last Mughal emperor died in exile, composing poetry. The first Mughal emperor arrived in a foreign land with 12,000 men and a dream. Between them, 3 centuries of everything the human story contains. Ambition and love, genius and cruelty, construction and destruction, faith and doubt. History belongs to no single continent, no single faith, no single people. The Mughal Empire belongs to all of us, as a warning, as an inspiration, as a mirror. This story moved you, share it. Drop a comment with the moment that hit you hardest. And if you want us to go deeper on any single emperor, Akbar's religious revolution, Nur Jahan's actual power, or the Maratha wars that ended the Mughals, tell us below. The story of humanity is too large for any single video, but we're going to try anyway. See you next time.